Hey guys. Hello, how's everyone doing? Just trying to center this thing so that I can actually see people. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone. It's great to see you guys. I'm just pulling up a couple of things because today I am so excited about finding your own voice. That is exactly what we're talking about today. I'm going to, let's see, open up my stream over here so I can see your comments in actual real time, which is always nice.
Hey guys, welcome to
And
Forward. We're a new type.
you guys might actually never mind. You're gonna hear echo. I don't want to hear an echo. All right, hello, 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 everybody. Good to see you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Today we're gonna talk about how to find your own voice, and I'm just super excited to talk about that. Now, before we actually get started, what I'd love to do is I'd love for you guys to tell me who is an artist that you feel like you've always imitated or you've had a hard time not imitating. And even if you're not really a singer just yet or anything like that, or you're just getting started off, who is a singer that you feel has an incredibly unique voice that you could see it's very easy to wind up imitating them? So let's just get started off with the chat in there. I'm going to have to apologize right off the bat in that I do have terrible allergies today. Let me look at the allergy report in Austin. Let's see. So they don't take it on the weekends, but let's see. Yesterday, Cedar here in Austin was, let's see, 27,000 parts per million cedar, which is a lot of cedar. Um, so yeah, I'm if you hear me snarfling and sniffling and stuff like that, that's why. I'm gonna do my best to mute my mic whenever I make a gross noise. All right, people are saying, okay, Sia is someone that's very easy to imitate. Kelly Clarkson, Lauren Hill, always trying to sound like Ruth B. Patsy Cline, Joe Stafford. Zachary says, "What do you mean? Like, what are we trying to imitate?" Yeah, so I think it's fair to say that most singers, when they first get started off, they start off by imitating other singers. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because, like, you get into singing, people start singing because they really love singers. They really love specific singers and songs. So that's what we're talking about. Who is a singer that you get started off in singing and you're like, oh, I think I'm probably getting a little too close to imitating this person. I'm going to put that in the comments. And Carolyn, if you're here, Carolyn, what are we talking about today? What can people get signed up for today as a part of this live stream to help them on the journey to finding their own voice? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Carolyn is my virtual assistant. If you guys have ever emailed me, you'll definitely have probably heard from Carolyn. So, Carolyn, go ahead and put that in the chat whenever you have a moment. So I don't try to imitate. I just try to sing in my range. That's great. Let's see. Sandy Denny, Tracy Chapman, Cher, Tasha Cobbs. Great answers. Great answers. Now, I always like to start off talking about this subject by kind of talking about a story in my own experiences with learning how not to imitate other people. So it was about 10 years ago, and I'm taking a lesson with my voice teacher, Gene, and we're doing all the normal, vocal exercises, all the all that stuff, all the exercises and everything. And at the end of the 30 minutes, Gene says to me, hey, so you're sounding great. The exercises are sounding fantastic. What do you want to sing today? And so I say, "Oh, I really wanna sing the song by Elliott Smith," who is one of my favorite singers at the time. And if you don't know Elliott Smith, he's just this very, very light, very breathy, really angelic and kind of haunting voice. He makes really beautiful acoustic music. And so I'd really like to sing this song called Say Yes, which is one of his most beautiful songs. If you haven't heard it, definitely check it out. But at the time, I only knew how to really just imitate Elliott Smith. Like anytime, and I wasn't even aware of it. Anytime I would sing, it would always turn on this very light, I'm in love with the world through the eyes of a girl. It was just very, very light and breathy. And if you guys can hear my voice, you know that that's not the way that my voice really sounds, right? And so, in fact, what I was doing was I was imitating, I was just doing my best Elliott Smith impression. And the reason that I think that this is so important to talk about is because it was actually holding me back. So, Gene hears me doing this. And immediately he says to me, "So wait, how old are you again?" And I'm like, "I'm 25. Like, what's the deal? Why'd you stop me?" Because I was just singing the song the way that I'd been singing it for years. And that's when he hits me with, "So if you're 25, why are you singing like a 12-year-old girl?" And you guys can imagine, like, when you hear that, you're just like, "Oh my god, like I just got shots fired." I just got called out by my vocal teacher, by, someone that I really trust and really like and respect. And he's saying, "Hey, you're sounding like this, like a 12-year-old girl. This is not what you want to sound like." He's like, "Why are you singing like a 12-year-old girl? You're a 25-year-old man." And that's when I realized that by doing my best impression of someone else, I was really actually just doing a second rate version of them. And as a matter of fact, I was getting further away from my own true voice. And the reason that I think that this is super important to talk about is because I see so many singers that do this exact same thing, and that they come in, they're taking a lesson, or they send in a recording of themselves singing or something like that. um or even, I just see this on YouTube and stuff like that, or on TikTok, where people are doing their best impression of X, right? They're doing their best impression of this particular person. And the reason, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. As I said earlier, everybody gets started off with singing because they're inspired by someone, right? And I'm totally fine with that. However, at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, number one, from a vocal technique, is it sustainable for me to sing like this other person? Because I think we all know that some of our favorite singers don't necessarily have the best vocal technique, right? And number two, if I want to build a career as an artist, is that the best way to go about it, by imitating someone else? Tell me your thoughts on this, guys. Have you guys felt this way before? Do you find yourself imitating other people? Go ahead and throw that in the chat. I want this to be a discussion. Do you find yourself imitating other people? And if so, who are you imitating? That's basically the question that I was starting off with before. And Carolyn is dropping in the chat our 150 mini song lessons. We have a resource for females and a resource for males. And it's absolutely amazing because it's 150 vocal songs, 150 vocal songs for males and those identify as male, and 150 for females and those who identify as female. And it breaks down every song into what I call the SMART system, which breaks down the style, melody, vocal area, the range, and the key takeaways for each song. Starts off at only $19. And that is just such a fantastic way to support the channel. So, we're talking about like singing songs by other singers, and a great way of actually, improving on your voice and learning where your own singing voice is by trying lots of different singers and trying lots of different styles. Now, and yeah, people are saying like imitating John Mayer. Yeah, John Mayer. So John Mayer is a fantastic example. Let's talk about John Mayer for a second. So if I sing a song like Gravity, for instance, gravity is working against me, and gravity wants to bring me down. Oh, twice as much ain't twice as good. Right? I don't know if you guys have heard that song. It's called Gravity. I'll probably get a copyright strike on my channel just for doing that. But that's how much I appreciate you guys, and this is how much I want to help you guys out. So, what's wrong with me doing my best John Mayer impression there? Well, as a vocal coach, I can think of a couple different things. First of all, can everyone hear how breathy I'm saying? Gravity. So it's like I'm doing two different things. I'm adding a lot of strain into my voice. I'm adding a lot of tightness. But at the same time, I'm also adding some breathiness into my vocal cords. Now, when you listen to John Mayer speak, you actually hear that those components that I just mentioned are actually a part of his speaking voice. So that is kind of his natural sound. That is kind of his natural range. Now, there are certain things about that I would disagree with and say, like, it's a matter of degree. Like, I think he could sing a little bit a little less breathy sometimes, and I think that would help. But if I'm doing that, and that's not the way that my voice naturally works or sounds, I'm going to hurt myself, or at the very least hold myself back. Does that make sense? Go ahead and just put yes in the chat if that makes sense. I want to make sure that everybody gets this. Now we're about 12 minutes into the live stream. Now, the first at 15 minutes, I always like to bring on somebody and actually work with their voice a little bit. So, if you're feeling brave, I'm going to go ahead and just drop the link in the chat. And no pressure. All you need is your built-in camera and your built-in microphone. I'm going to drop this in the chat. If you guys want to join me and work and have me work with your voice a little bit, you can go ahead and just click that link. And we'll do that in just a few minutes here. So people are saying, yes, that totally makes sense. Sweet Potato wants to imitate Ariana Grande and you're a male. Good luck with that. That's tough. That's tough to do. Let's see. I like how people actually leave the chat open while he's talking like it's a class. Anyway, that link is awesome and perfect to actually answer the question. Sometimes I try to imitate Dan Reynolds. Yeah, exactly. So that wait, what key is that in? I think it's C sharp. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. You can hear it right there again. I'm probably gonna get another copyright strike. I'll be lucky at the end of the stream if my channel is even still up. But that's how much I care about you guys and learning from this. But if I'm doing my best Dan Reynolds impression, Dan Reynolds, by the way, is the lead singer of Imagine Dragons. And he has kind of like a couple interesting things going on with his voice in that he oftentimes kind of flips up to those high notes in his voice. And then other times he'll also just really, really growl and strain his way up into those notes. Can everybody feel me on that? So the important thing here, and by the way, I see that there's some folks that are joining the stream, and I cannot wait to have them on. But I just want to make sure that this is absolutely clear that if I am doing my best impression of someone else, I'm probably going to either hurt myself or hold myself back because I'm not doing something that is natural to my voice. So to take that same example, rather than when you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. So rather than doing that, instead, the goal is to make it sound more like my voice. And that's just not what my voice does. Then, when you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. So I'm not stepping on the Dan Reynolds effects pedal quite as much as I was before. Cool. Does that make sense to everybody? Awesome. Great. Now, to all the folks that are looking to volunteer, that's great. We're going to have a couple volunteers throughout this. So even if I don't pick you the first time, definitely hang out, and you can always remove yourself from the stream if you're sick of just waiting in the waiting room. I will ask for more volunteers. So Someone said, I don't know how to growl or belt. A lot of the time with this kind of sound, it's about imitation. So, to get that Dan Reynolds belt or kind of growl, you've got that, ah, 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 ah. And that's how you get that, ah. Doesn't sound great. Doesn't feel great either. But learning how to do that is very, very important. Irene says, do you see my name? Yes, I see your name. I see your name in the chat. Yes, I do. Okay, great. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite the first person into the waiting room here. And so, Andrew Haynes, if you're available, it looks like you were the first person in there. Okay, I got thumbs up from Andrew. Andrew, you're coming on live with Ramsey Voice Studio. It feels like a call-in radio show. What's up, man? How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Nice to see you. Where in the world are you, Andrew?
My home in Illinois.
Nice. What part of Illinois?
About an hour and a half outside of Chicago.
Oh, cool. I was born outside of Chicago in Wheaton, Illinois.
Oh, not too far.
That's not too far from you?
No, it's about an hour.
Honestly, I've never, in the Chicagoland area, that I know that an hour is really not that much because it's so spread out.
Right.
Yeah. So, Andrew, why don't you tell me a little bit about your voice and just what's going on with you? I'm going to turn off my camera for a second. I've got to turn this fan on. It is way too hot in here.
Yeah. So, well,
I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing your vocal class warm-ups. It's been helping me out a lot. Kind of got some little bit of sickness and congestion in the last month, and that set me back quite a bit.
Okay.
But a lot of inconsistency. So a lot of good weeks and a lot of bad weeks. And my goal is to get more consistent. And I don't really know why it is that way. So.
Gotcha. And just to bring it back to the topic of today, are there kind of any particular vocalists that you really, aspire to sound like, or you find yourself kind of imitating, or is it really just more about finding the consistency in your voice?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of imitating, I think I try to imitate what I like in my own voice. So when I because I record myself a lot, and when I have
Nice.
a good day, I'm like, yes, I want to sound like that. And then there's certain days I can't do it.
That's awesome.
So,
I think that's a really cool way to do it. So just to kind of clarify for everyone that's listening out there, what I think Andrew is doing that's really cool is that he's recording himself, first of all, which increases your self-awareness about your own singing, which is tremendous because there are so many singers that have very little self-awareness about, what their voice sounds like, what it does well and what it doesn't do well. And what you're talking about, Andrew, is kind of like doubling down on like what's going well with your voice. So tell me a little bit about that. Like you're talking about how it's inconsistent. Some days it sounds better than others. What are the good things that you hear in your voice that you want more of?
Well, the good thing would be first pitch. Sometimes the pitch is off, and I don't quite understand why.
Okay.
But the main component is the ease of singing, I guess. Some days it's just working. It's kind of effortless, and other days it's like I can do the same thing, but boy, it's tight and technique wise, I don't know what I'm doing different.
How
And,
about
Go
sorry to interrupt. How about any external factors? Like, I know that you said you're doing the same thing technique wise, but like, as far as, diet, exercise, allergies, stuff like my voice sounds terrible today because allergies are just insane here in Austin right now. Anything like that on the outside besides your warm-ups?
Yeah, and that's what I've been trying to figure out too. Hydration. It's pretty dry in the winter, so I've been using a humidifier, trying to drink more water. And I
Nice.
do notice there's been a small little bit of heartburn type of stuff that really messes with me.
Ah, yes.
Messes with the diet, trying to figure out what that's from. Maybe
Yeah.
coffee. I don't want to admit it's coffee because I
Dude, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I want to do a video on this because like I have such a bad relationship with coffee in that it's like an abusive food for me in that like I love what it does for my mind, but I hate what it does for my voice. So I literally I did not drink coffee this morning because I knew I was going to be doing this live stream. And I also knew that my allergies were already kicking my butt. So I was like, I can't do that. I can't like pile up on my voice. But I want to do a video about this because there are so many people that they can drink, lattes, espresso, bitter, dark coffee, and they're totally fine. They can drink coffee with milk or with sugar, and they're just totally fine. I am not one of those people. And so I just wanted to put that out there that there are going to be some people who are like, how dare you say that coffee is bad for you? There's study X, Y, and Z that say it's fine. I can tell you that there's a huge difference in my voice. So for you, Andrew, I would just say be curious about that and maybe just take it out one day and just see if you notice any difference. That'd be a start. But why don't we do a little work on your voice? Anything in particular? You said singing on pitch was a big thing for you. And you said just kind of like finding that consistency. Anything else that you're working on currently with your voice?
Yeah, the vocal breaks. I seem to have an easier time up in the head voice, and that transition I've been working on, and I've had a setback recently on it because of the congestion and all that. But
Yeah.
I think on the way up the scales, I really struggle with the kind of the hesitancy. The way down seems to be a lot better in terms of pitch and the vocal break and all that.
Cool.
But I've been trying to do exercises that a lot of slides and things to try to smooth that out. And I find that the slides are fairly easy, but when I go back to the broken scales, it's harder, which is odd to me. So
yeah, absolutely. No, I love what you're saying, and I can't wait to demonstrate some of this stuff. Is it okay if we do a little bit of singing stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. So I'm using this mic for the first time today. Usually I just use my built-in mic. Does this sound okay? Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay. When I play my piano, you're probably not going to hear it as well. How about this?
It's all right.
Ish. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it like out here, so maybe you can still hear me. But have you tried just going like a low to high and back down?
Yeah.
Awesome. Now top, down, top. Awesome. Okay, great. And do you know the scale of this? Dude, you've got a great sense of pitch. That's awesome. Let's do it here. Good. Now I hear just like the hint of the break in there. That's all right. A lot of people that are hearing this will be like, "Oh, that sounds very smooth." But and we don't do. First of all, it is a misnomer to think that we can completely get rid of the break. It doesn't exist. The break will always exist in your voice. And a lot of people are going to be pissed off at me for saying this, but it's the truth because you're necessarily changing from one muscle to another muscle group, from the thyroarytenoid to the cricothyroid. It's like the bicep to the tricep. At a certain point in a pull-up, I'm going to go from being more bicep to more tricep. That's just the way that it goes. Now, that's why you're always going to hear a little bit of a break in your voice. But the goal here is to make that break sound as disguised as possible. So if you hear me do that, you really don't hear a break across my range, even though there is one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Do it there, please. Nice. Wonderful. Good. High C here. Dude, I love it. That sounds great. Okay, now do the same thing on like rung, like I rung the doorbell. Have you done this one before?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So, now we're making this nasal on purpose, and I'll explain why in a second. Good. Well,
Question coming in there.
that's totally fine. That's why we're doing it. And we're going to clear some of that out as we go. Now, do me a favor and Rylan, and keeping your jaw really tight, relax the jaw. So, not perfect, but it's better. You feel that?
Yeah.
Good. Again. Good. You're still keeping the jaw pretty tight. There it is. There you go. Feel the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually tight right under here.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's something you guys can do at home. This will be kind of fun. So everyone that's at home and watching this right now, take your thumb and place it on the muscle right underneath your chin. So not on the chin, right here, the chin bone, directly behind it. And place it there and then swallow. Now you can even see it on my camera that when I swallow, there's like a little boop, boop that happens. And what's going on there is that's the root of the tongue that's grabbing for the note. Now, what we don't want is we don't want that muscle to be rock hard when we're singing this. And I can hear that yours, Andrew, is like super tight right now. So what I want you to do, and this is not going to get better in 1 10-minute lesson or whatever this is, but what I want you to try is I want you to try to relax it as much as possible using a technique that I call the dead man stare. And the dead man stare means basically you're keeping your thumb underneath here and you're just singing and everything is just totally relaxed. So you're like, dude, give it up for Andrew. That was awesome. That was awesome. Could you feel the difference there?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Now the muscle still flexes, right? I mean, it's
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to flex and it's going to do that for a while. That's why vocal training takes time. Because some of these habits are like really, really old and really, really built into you. And they're just bad habits that we have to undo over time. The temptation to reach for a note with your tongue is really, really hardwired into us. Help me. And not to pick on any of my fellow voice teachers, but there's another famous YouTube channel where he chases all those high notes with he's like, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's like the worst thing that you could do. That's why it sounds so strainy. He's a great singer and it works for him. God bless him. But most of the singers that I meet need help actually relaxing those notes a little bit. Let's just do one more. Dead man stare. Good. And you're going to keep hearing that break. But over time, it gets better. And it gets better to the point where you're like, where's the break? You can't really hear it. I feel it, but you can't hear it. Can you try that one more time? That's awesome. But on your way down, rather than try to let in those bottom notes on the way down. One more time. Allow. It's like the parachute. You know, you're parachuting out of a plane rather than just plopping on the ground. You're like, now, was that perfect? Absolutely not, but it was better, right? And that better is what we want to chase. Awesome. Everybody give it up for Andrew. Andrew, I'm going to remove you from the stream, but thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Keep working on that, brother. It's going to work.
Will do.
Awesome, guys. Give it up for Andrew, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's important to hydrate as you're doing all this stuff. Now, I actually want to invite on another guest, another singer that wants to improve their voice. Before we do that, sorry, I have to blow my nose. This is going to be not very pretty. I'm going to turn off my camera for a second. Good. Hopefully you guys didn't hear or see that. That's not what I want with 60 people watching right now and a couple thousand more people to come in the next couple of days. um, so before we actually get into the next performer, which we'll do in, just a couple minutes, what I want to describe to you guys is my 3-step process for stopping imitating other singers. Now, this is something that I talked a lot about in some of my recent videos. If you go to my channel, you'll see my most recent video talks about this. But the 3-step process that I use to help my singers get out of this idea of imitating other singers is really very simple. And it all comes back to the speaking voice. Now, why does it all come back to the speaking voice? The reason that it comes back to the speaking voice is because when we're speaking, oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, we are not adding any tension or imitation in our voice. We're just speaking naturally, right? But when we go to sing, all of a sudden, things start happening. We start tensing things, we start manipulating things that we don't even think about sometimes. Like we don't even think about it. We're just thinking about, oh, I just want to sound like this singer, or even if it's a song that you've been singing a million times, you may not even be aware of it, but you're probably imitating another singer. And instead of that, what I want you to do is I want you to go back to your speaking voice. And so someone was asking how often I go live. I go live every Saturday right now. And this is a new thing that I'm trying out. So if you guys enjoy this, let me know in the comments. Give me lots of thumbs up and lots of comments. I need to see that participation for while you guys are here. It really brings me a lot of joy. So my 3 steps, right? Yeah, someone said it would have been nice to hear him apply the exercise to a song. We're going to do that with another singer here in just a second. Before we do that, the 3 steps that you can go to. So I'll just use myself as an example. What am I going to play? Hold on 1 second. Let me turn this on. I feel like playing some guitar, so I'm going to play some guitar for a second. So this is, let's see how loud this is. Cool. I don't know if you guys can hear that guitar or not, but a band that I absolutely love is the Ramones, right? So if we look at a song like Blitzkrieg Bop, for instance, then Joey Ramone, not Johnny Ramone, is someone that had a whole lot of interesting vocal things that he put on his voice, right? And a lot of that was very, very influenced by his speaking voice. He's a dude from Queens. He sounds like a dude from Queens, right? However, if I try to sound like Joey Ramone, then I'm always going to be a second-rate version of that. So like, the forming in a straight line, they go through time warp, the kids are losing their minds, the blitzkrieg up. Hi, oh, let's go, shoot them in the back now. What they want, I don't know, they're all wrapped up and ready to go. They're forming in a straight line, going through a time warp, the kids are losing their minds, a blitzkrieg bop. Notice he doesn't say Blitzkrieg Bop. He says Blitzkrieg Bop. Blitzkrieg Bop. Right? That's Joey Ramone. Whoa, I'm just banging my microphone with that. That's Joey Ramone's sound. Now, if I do that in the same way that he does, then I'm adding all sorts of tension and stuff in my voice that doesn't sound particularly good. Now, is that going to destroy my voice? Probably not, because it doesn't really go into any crazy high notes that are really scary to me. But if I instead go back to my speaking voice, they're forming in a straight line, right? Rather than they're forming in a straight line. They're forming in a straight line. Who am I, Forrest Gump? No. I'm like a dude from Queens. I'm like, they're forming in a straight line. They're forming in a straight line. No, instead, They're forming in a straight line. So that's step one, is just bring it back to the way that you speak it. Step two is say those words on pitch. They're forming in a straight line. Now, this is the part that throws most people off. They're going to be like, oh my God, that sounds terrible. Like, I hate the way that sounds. You sound like a Broadway singer. That's all right. That's just a part of this journey. And then the third step is to sing it or speak it on the pitch, but smoothly. So, they're forming in a straight line. Notice that I'm not, they're forming in a straight line. They're forming in a straight line. Can everyone hear the difference there? There's a little more enunciation. There's a little bit more clarity in my voice. And to me, I don't think it sounds that much worse. So the difference being, they're forming in a straight line. We're going through a time warp. The kids are losing their minds. The blitzkrieg bump. Not that bad, right? It still sounds like the Ramones, but it sounds like Matt Ramsey singing the Ramones rather than Matt Ramsey doing a poor man's Joey Ramone impression. Does that make sense to everyone? I just want to make sure that this makes sense, sounds good, and we're going to invite a new singer on here in just a second. I turn my amp off, or else it'll be making noise the whole time. All right, so who's excited to see another singer come on? Zachary, are you still with us? You've been waiting very, very patiently. Uh-oh, it looks like Zachary may have frozen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this invite link in the chat again. What I want you guys to do is, if you feel like you want some personal feedback on your voice and specifically figuring out how you can stop imitating other people, then I want you guys to go ahead and join me in the stream right now. And I'll see you soon. Oh, okay, Zachary, you can see me. I can see you, but it looked like you froze for a second. Cool, but maybe you're back. So let's go ahead and add you to the stream. Everybody, please, I'll go ahead and let me get rid of that. Oh, I can't get rid of that. The one. Oh, well, never mind. Everyone, please welcome Zachary to the stream. What's up, buddy?
What up? How's it going?
I'm great. How about you?
Pretty good. Just now I'm going to be muting myself back and forth because I don't want you to hear any echoing.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you, man. You're all over it.
For sure.
See, there it is. So, Zachary, tell me a little bit about yourself. And usually the echo starts to go away a little bit over time, so hopefully that's the case. But there's no telling with some of the streaming software. But tell us a little bit about yourself, you and singing. What kind of singers that you particularly love?
To be honest, it's very funny. I had everything prepared. I was like, I'm gonna say whatever I'm gonna say, and then I totally I was just like, oh shoot. As soon as you contacted me, I was like, what am I gonna say? But yeah,
that's all right. Let's have an authentic experience here. This is totally live. Let's just pretend that nobody else is here. It's just you and me, Zach. Tell me what do you love about singing? What are some singers that you absolutely love?
Yeah, I mean, recently I've just been loving that feeling that I've been getting from singing, that emotion, that passion, and it's just like that feeling. I like that ability to kind of express that in this voice. I like being able to put an effect on someone and seeing that person really feel that emotion. I've never personally actually been able to produce that, but I've been on the other end of that, and I've always wanted to do that. Like I said, talked about Dan Reynolds. I connect with his music, and I that wanting to break free. I felt his music, and I want to produce that in some other person. It's just not the best voice yet.
Well, I don't personally believe. First of all, I'm getting some feedback from Carolyn, my VA, that people aren't able to see Zach. I want to make sure. Can everyone see Zach? But before, you guys can go ahead and throw that in the chat. But one thing that you said that I wanted to just respond to really quickly was that I don't think you necessarily have to have the best voice in order to still impact somebody on an emotional level. I think, I just sang Joey Ramone. I don't think that Joey Ramone definitely has the best voice in the world. Oh, people can't see you. Oh, that's a bummer. I wonder what's going on there. Maybe let me see, solo layout. So if I make him big there, that doesn't help, huh? Okay, weird. Oh well, maybe can you guys still hear Zach? Zach is Zach's a handsome young man in front of a very nice studio mic, and he's got some guitars in the background. That's all you really need to know. But as long as you can hear him, it's showing a gray screen as his face. Okay. Oh well. Well, no worries. As long if you guys can still hear him, then that's all that really matters for right now. I know it may not be as engaging socially, but I appreciate Zach hanging out. So Joey Ramone, I don't think has the best singing voice in the world, but you hear that sound and it just boom, it impacts you. What singers do you really enjoy? You mentioned one earlier. I didn't catch it. Who it was though?
Well, I mentioned Dan Reynolds.
Imagine Dragons. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of like, let's see. I don't know if you know Surfaces. They're kind of like a little low down. They're not as like popular as, Dan Reynolds, but I like their, chill. He's very like whispery in his voice. He's like da da, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm generally just been going around. I'm all over pop. I've never really stuck, I've always been like, oh, I like him, and then, oh, I like him,
No, yeah. I mean, I don't think you have to have like one favorite artist. It's like, like when you're 35 years old, you don't have to have like one best friend. You could have like lots of friends that you go to see for different things. You can have lots of different singers that you like for different reasons. But let's look at the example of Dan Reynolds for a second. And people were looking for some examples of singing in songs. Are you warmed up at all, Zach? Do you need a little warm up before we sing?
It's actually perfect. I just came from another one-on-one, and I just finished doing some exercises on like my course I'm doing. So
you're cheating on me, Zach. I get it. Just like we have many different singers that we need to go to for different things, and we have different vocal coaches for different things. So that's totally fine, and I get it. Everybody needs different things. So what I want to do, and Carolyn, if you don't mind, just continue dropping in those links whenever, every few minutes or whatever, so people can get a hold of that resource if they need it. So what we're going to do, Zach, is let's just do that. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. Is it safe to assume that's a song that you know pretty well? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up the lyrics really fast.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say that I've attempted this song, and I get very caught up in trying to sound like Dan, and then it turns very funny. So all right, got the lyrics, and we're
sure. It looks like the high note in this one is sharp. So I think you might be playing it in the wrong key. It might be an E flat, because I believe the high note is supposed to be an A flat. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. Yeah, that's the right key. But that's all right. We can do it in this original key. So let's just do it in the key of D flat right now. So from right there, when you feel my heat. Okay, go for it.
When you feel my heat.
Yeah. Can you give me a little more, please?
When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide. It's where my demons hide. Don't get too close.
Great. Let's just work on that section so far. All right. So first things first, and I know there's a little echo, guys. It's just the nature of the beast right now. So the first thing is those first two lines that you sang, you actually sang a harmony to the actual melody that we want you to sing. So the real melody is, yeah. So when you feel my heat, when you feel my heat. So it's. Can you sing that back for me?
When you feel my heat.
So just do it in falsetto right now. When you feel my heat, even if you have to break.
When when been working on falsetto. Okay, when my falsetto is really messed up.
It
right
doesn't
now.
have to be that high of a falsetto. How old are you, Zach?
Okay. 22.
Yeah. Your voice is still settling. Now,
When you feel my heat.
there you go. Do it again. When you feel my heat.
When you feel my heat.
There you go. Great. Now do that same thing. Mute yourself for a second. We're driving everyone crazy here because of the echo. Oh well, that's just the way it goes. Now do that same thing, but this time do it on nay, like you're saying neighbor. But rather than nay, 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 nay. So nice and strong.
So you want me to do nay?
Yes. Do the melody on nay. So nay, 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 nay.
Nay.
Good. It's very important that you start right here. Nay on that note.
Nay.
There. Start there.
Nay.
Do it again. Nay, 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 nay.
Nay.
Heck yeah, dude. Nice job. Everybody give Zach a round of applause. That's awesome. Very, very important. Now, is that totally on pitch? No, it's not. But you're actually going to the right place. Now, do that same thing. Now, keep some of that same nay feeling when you feel my heat. And just say that first line for me. When you feel my heat.
When you feel my... Oh, shoot. Should I still do falsetto there?
No, I actually
okay.
have to find that mix that you just found a second ago. When you feel my heat.
When you feel my heat.
There you go. Awesome. So, when you feel my heat, look into my eyes. The first two lines, please.
When you feel my heat, look into my eyes.
Good. Now, one thing that Zach is adding here that is so Dan Reynolds is the little bit of the cry there. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. So I actually want you to take some of that out, Zach, and just imagine that you're just saying the words as yourself up there. Say, when you feel my heat. Just say it.
When you feel my heat.
Good. You didn't go, when you feel my heat. You just went, when you feel my heat. Do it again.
When you feel my heat.
Wonderful. And Carolyn, keep dropping those links every 5 minutes or so. So now what I want you to do is I want you to say that same thing, but say it on pitch this time. So when you feel my heat, and I'm not adding too much of that. I'm just saying, when you feel my heat.
When you feel my heat, look into my eyes.
Nice, dude. That's it right there. How does that feel for you?
It feels so much more like, I just feel more free. I just don't feel like I'm trying so hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good news is, Zachary, you can fire your other vocal coach now. I'm just kidding. That was wonderful. Everybody give Zach a big round of applause. Hopefully you guys were able to see. I'm going to go ahead and remove him from the stream just because there were so many of the tech issues with that. But I'll just make sure that the next folks that we invite on will have good camera and good audio. But one thing that I think Zach was doing really, really well there were a lot of cool things about that. First of all, I think we can all agree about that. First, did everyone notice how he wasn't singing the right melody at first? He was off pitch, but he was convinced that he was singing the right pitch. Has anybody else been there? Has anybody had that experience where it's like you think you're singing the right notes and then you actually hear yourself and you're like, oh, wow, I was singing something else that I did not realize. I think we've all had that experience. So my first step as a vocal coach was like helping him find where those notes actually were, right? So that's number one. Then we also heard that when you feel, he was straining so much to get into those higher notes that instead of having him just go for it. Instead, I just had him singing in falsetto so that there was no strain. When you feel my heat, except for those last notes, which are very definitely within the chest voice range for him. So then what I did was I had him speak the words to help him get that connection that we were looking for. Great, great, guys. We're going to invite on one more guest here in just a moment, one more volunteer, I should say. I'm going to go ahead and throw the link to join me in the chat here. Put that in there so you guys can go ahead and start piling up in the waiting room. And I'll invite somebody on in just a second. So if you're interested, this is your first and last chance to get a little one-on-one feedback. Before we do that, Carolyn is dropping links to under my name to our amazing resource, 150 vocal songs, which is absolutely amazing. We've got a resource for females, we've got a resource for males, and basically the goal of finding your own voice comes from singing lots and lots and lots of different kinds of songs. Now, what's really cool about 150 vocal songs, if I can share my screen for a second, just so you guys can see. Let's see. I have not done this before. Oh, cool. Right on. So you guys are going to get a little preview. Yes, you can see that. Every day I'm learning how to use this thing. So this is 150 vocal songs for basses, baritones, and tenors. And so just to show you guys an example, what I've done is I've broken down, let's find a good example of like something that's like really popular right now. These are a little bit older. Heck, why not? Let's do some George Harrison, because Get Back is really big right now. But in 150 vocal songs, basically, you break it down. You have this vocal range sneak peek, is what I call it, where it shows the vocal range of the song in blue right here. It also tells you right there. You've got links to all the music. So this will take you to the YouTube track. This will take you to the karaoke version. This will take you to the sheet music itself. And then every song, I do this 150 times. I actually did it 300 times because we did 150 for females, 150 for males. I break it down into what I call the SMART system. And the SMART system breaks it down into style, melody, vocal area, range, and takeaways. Okay. So we talk about the style of the song and what it requires. So backup singers, incredibly modern yet vocal classic production. Now the melody, this is where things get really interesting, where I'm talking about, okay, during the intro, George Harrison starts off with a B3 and descends down to this F sharp 3. And then the I really want to see you. So we know about these things going forward rather than just getting surprised by a high note all of a sudden. I actually know that it's coming through. The vocal area, that's telling you about like which registers it uses. In this case of this song, we've got some chest voice and some first passage with a high note of F sharp 4. Then the vocal range we've talked about just has an octave of vocal range. And I like to point this out is like, it would be really easy to look at a song like My Sweet Lord and be like, oh man, this song is like super easy. It only has an octave of range. However, after 3.5 minutes of singing in the same area, you will learn that this will be a good test of stamina. And finally, takeaways. This is where things get really fun in the notes from Matt, where it's like, I'm talking about what this song is good at training you to do. And by the way, all 150 vocal songs are arranged according to voice type, difficulty, all this great stuff. And all you have to do, it's only $19. Great way to support the channel. Just click one of the links that Carolyn dropped below, and you'll get this. And if you get the complete or the Rockstar edition, those actually come with video singing tutorials. So it'll show you how to actually sing those songs with real singers. Awesome. So let's go ahead and bring on one more singer. Just imagine how much thought that took. It took a lot of thought. It took a lot of work. I can tell you that. So we're going to go ahead and invite on one more person right now. There's the link right there if you guys are interested in getting a little one-on-one feedback. And I'm going to wrap up today by kind of talking a little bit about, before we invite on our last singer, that is, by talking about where does all of this lead you to? Where does this journey of finding your own voice actually lead you to? To me, I think that when you actually start finding songs that fit your voice, there's so much confidence that comes in that, rather than just choosing songs that you think sound interesting or, sound cool. I call that pick and pray. That's like when you pick a song that you really love and you just try to sing it, and pray that it goes really well. Um, Instead, I think that you have such a better grip on what your voice is and what it does really well. There are songs by singers that I absolutely love, but probably shouldn't try to sing because it doesn't necessarily fit my voice. And even though I can hit the notes, is it ever going to sound great in my voice? No. For example, am I ever going to sing a Johnny Cash song and make it sound really good? Certainly not without changing the key or changing some other fundamental aspects of it. Really, really, you gain so much more of a self-awareness and appreciation for what your own voice is and what it does well. Now, I don't have anybody in the waiting room right now. This is your last chance, guys, to join to get a little bit of personal feedback. But I get the feeling that there are a lot of folks that are probably a little scared of joining me live. And that's totally fine. We have a few minutes left, and I'm going to make the best of it that I possibly can, because my experience with finding my own voice has been in learning to love what my voice actually sounds like. And I know that sounds really silly because I don't know that anyone truly loves the sound of their own voice. I mean, even Adele has talked about how she doesn't love the sound of her own voice. And I'm like, man, if Adele doesn't like the sound of her own voice, like, where's the hope for the rest of us, right? But when you gain an appreciation for what your voice actually does and sounds well doing, there's a huge benefit to that because you feel so much more confident in your own singing, and that is just absolutely huge. Let's see. I want to teach myself how to sing. Can you give me some tips? That is the $1,000,000 question, my friends. But hopefully, as we go through these lives, you guys are going to continue seeing more and more progress and being able to get your questions answered. So we've got 2 minutes left, which is perfect for me to sing one of my favorite Ramones songs. So I'm gonna go ahead and play us out with this. Well, she went away for the holiday. Said she's going to LA, but she never got there. Never got there. Never got there. They say, yeah, she went away for the holidays. Said she's going to LA, but she never got there. She never got there. They say, yeah, the KKK took my baby away. They took her away from me. The KKK took my baby away. They took her away from me. Hey! Well, I wonder where my baby could be. They took her from me, yeah, they took her from me, yeah. Wonder where my baby could be. They took her from me, yeah, they took her from me, yeah. Bring me to the president. Find out where my baby went. Bring me to the astronaut. Gotta find out if my bets are wrong. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, she went away for the holidays.
Said she's going to LA, but she never got there, never got there, she never got there. They say, yeah, she went away for the holiday. Said she's going to LA, but she never got there. She never got there. They say, yeah, the KKK took my baby away. They took her away from me. The KKK took my baby away. They took her away from me. The KKK took my baby away. They took her away from me. The KKK took my baby away. They took her away. They took my baby away. Thank you guys very much for being here. Have an awesome rest of your day. Goodbye.